start with Andrew as soon as everybody sits down. Andrew, go ahead.
You called a timeout somewhat late in the first half. It really lit into the guys. It's about as animated as I've seen you. And Seth even kind of made a little bit of a joke about how you were so animated you were sweating and had to dry yourself off during the timeout. What led to all that animation and fire?
I just didn't think the discipline and details, things that we talk about that have to be there consistently wasn't happening in that stretch in regards to taking care of the basketball, boxing out, rebounding, getting through screens, talking on defense, contesting shots, defending without fouling. And I wanted to take a timeout to communicate that to them.
Did a message sent? Did they receive it? They closed pretty well.
They did close. We talked a lot about this this week, that the times where individually and as a team you experience some success, that those are the times where you have to even dive in deeper to the discipline and details that have allowed you to get to where you are. It's not a time to take a deep breath. And I told them that noise comes from two different directions. It comes from the direction of criticism, and then it comes from the direction of praise. And that the hardest noise to deal with is the one of praise. And you have to stay focused on what is allowed to get you there. And I wanted to communicate that to him, and I did all week, and I did during that timeout and throughout the entire game.
Hubert, that's a season high for Vin today, and I think it's 4 straight games in double figures. 9 of 10 from the field is not bad.
Career high 9.
To what do you attribute the way that he's playing these last couple of weeks and the increase in production that you've been able to get out of him? What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, it's an increase in production. It's been consistent. His ability to be able to post up, and he's been a consistent rim presence for us over the last 5 or 6 games. You know, like we can throw the ball into the post, and you know we can score. Teams defensively have been playing 15, which means switching everything on the ball, and so when teams do that, you have to punish them with the advantage. Now, there's an advantage out on the perimeter. Can their bigs guard your guards on the perimeter, and can their guards guard your bigs in the post?
Yeah.
And Vin has taken advantage of that and been really effective for us. He's been really good.
When it comes to these last few games, the 3-point percentage for you guys has, heavily increased recently.
Yeah.
Some of the guys mark that up to, stepping into their shots, having more confidence, shooting the ball, things like that. What are you seeing that's allowing you guys to be more efficient when it comes to shooting threes?
I really think it's our approach of dominating points in the paint. I've been clear, definitive with them that we're an inside-outside team in regards to, putting max pressure on the rim, whether it's post penetration, offensive rebounds, getting to the free throw line. I feel like over the last 5 or 6 games, we've done a really good job of that. And as a result, it has led us to having some really good looks from 3. And we've got we've got a number of guys that are consistently knocking down those threes. And when you put that all together, that allows us, I don't know, last 5 games what we're averaging, but it's up in the 90s. And it's because we're getting it from everywhere, from 3, at the rim, free throw line, offensive rebounds, and then at the times where we can create some steals in our full court pressure, it even makes us even better offensively.
90.8 in the last 5, and 5 of the last 6 games, 40% or better from 3.
This kind of combines the last 2 questions, but is there a correlation between shots going down and the spacing that creates that has allowed Ven to have a little bit more space inside to work?
I would contribute a little bit of that. I do, when you talk about spacing, you can space guys in all 4 corners. If they can't shoot, they're still going to be in the lane. And so, yes, having guys consistently being able to knock down does help with spacing, and it does give space for guys like Vin to be able to operate down low without so many bodies around, and he's been able to take advantage of that.
Hubert, You have to like your offensive balance too, I would think.
I do.
You got like 6 guys in double figures.
I like
mean,
that. Yeah, I
That
like-
makes you tougher to defend for opposing teams coming in because you got so many guys who can step up and give you that kind of production.
I do, and I think that's been a difference in us. You know, lately we consistently had, 3 or 4 guys that are in double figures, and now today 6. I think the last game we had 5 or
6.
We had 6.
2 straight games,
And
yeah.
so that's, we're sharing the basketball, and you're having more guys consistently stepping up and playing well at the same time. And I think that's something that we consistently didn't have maybe earlier in the season, but we are right now.
Hubert, both Jay Wood and Ben said that they found this starting lineup that seems to be working so well. They said they found some real comfort in their roles. Just to go back to I don't know, it probably feels like a million years ago, but when you were getting all these lineup combinations to get to this point, is this kind of what you were hoping to eventually get to?
I do like this starting lineup. I like the rotations right now. I think it fits. But I think it fits because of them. We have a number of guys that you talked about. Vin and Jay Witt say they're feeling comfortable. We have a number of guys now, I think, feeling comfortable in knowing what their role is and feeling good about it. And I think not just for Jay Witt and Vin, I think a number of guys do. And so when you have that, I think that helps a lot. And we have that right now.
Hubert, Seth and Ben kind of speaking about that comfortability. Seth and Ben both mentioned that they found more connectivity that's maybe always been there, but not to this extent. And I just wonder from your perspective, what you've seen with that increased connection.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a group that has always enjoyed being around each other, but it's also been a group that's been very quiet. The level of the noise has, the level has grown. Not where I want it to be, but it has grown dramatically from where it was at the beginning of the year. And so the conversations during practice, in the huddles, in the locker room, much livelier in those areas. And I think that's just a huge benefit for us. In order to be a good team, you have to communicate. You got to get to know each other. You got to know how to communicate with each other. And I think we're really starting to find that now.
We had 5 guys with multiple assists. 4 of them had 3 or more.
Hubert, you discussed diving into those details and how important they come, whether you're going through a good stretch or a tough stretch.
Yeah.
How does that ratchet up now that we are in March and the games are getting bigger coming down the stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that question. And the guys could tell you this, it's March for me in October. I don't differentiate between March 1st and when we play November 4th. I don't care if it's a shoot around, a pickup game, playing knockout, playing in the Final Four. I think you need to bring that edge all the time. And so, and I think it helps with this group because I don't have to differentiate. I don't have to say, guys, it's March. I have to say, no, our next game is against a really good Virginia Tech team. And what is required is for them to get our full preparation in regards to putting ourselves in a position to play our best. And so that's a message that I said at the beginning of the year against Elon that I'll say in our preparation heading up to go against Virginia Tech.
Take a couple more if there are.
Along those lines, how do you feel about this team heading into the final week of the regular season and the way that you guys are playing?
I do. I feel good. The thing that I feel best about is this team staying connected and staying together. There have been bumps in the road, and I always tell them that when bumps come, the only thing that you have control over is how you react and how you respond. And so that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of how they have responded, how they have stayed connected, how they have grown as a team and as a group, and how they have stayed the course when it's hard to do that. at times.
As Lubin has been kind of discovering this role and finding more consistency, what were your words of advice to him to get to this point?
I mean, we have regular conversations. I mean, I require the guys to stop by the office at least 3 times a week, and if they don't, I run them, you know, and so, we don't have to talk about basketball, it's, you know, but I can't coach you unless I know you, and you can't play for me unless you know me, and so the only way I can get to know you and you get to know me is we gotta spend a lot of time together, not on the phone, not texting, not, is it tweeting or X or what, I don't know what it is now, but I'm not on it, okay, or DMing or whatever it's called or whatever, it's like, you have to spend time together, and just the conversations that I've had with Vin in terms of how important he is to this team and this program, how much we expect of him, how talented we think he is, and that we want him to be at his best, and every day we're in a position to try to help him be at his best, and he's really finding his rhythm right now.
And
Last one, Andrew.
Hubert, and I know obviously you guys have Virginia Tech coming up Tuesday, and I know we have the big finale, y'all have the big finale next Saturday against Duke. How do you keep your guys focused on Virginia Tech and not the preceding game, which I'm sure would be easy to do?
Well, you know, one of the things that I always tell them, I give them this Bible verse, Proverbs 4:25. It says, "Ignore all the sideshow distractions. Keep your eyes straight ahead." And that's just really important. The only thing that is of importance to us is what is right in front of us. And the opportunity to be able to compete against a Virginia Tech team on their home floor is something that we're focused and zeroed on. The other things, I stress a lot not to pay attention to that and focus on what is real, and what is real is on Tuesday we'll be in Blacksburg playing Virginia Tech.
All right, for real this time. Andrew, last one.
All right, a couple minutes ago you were talking about how it's March for you all the time. The guys have said that
Is it for you?
it's always March for you.
You know,
It's a
it's
baseball
live
season.
action. You know, they didn't grow up in pickup on the blacktop.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't win, if you didn't win, you had to wait 35 minutes to get back on to play pickup. So
right.
game point was a fight, because if you didn't win, you had to go back home. And so like, it is what it is. And so it's always March. You know.
We had those fights.
Not
in
everybody's
Notre
as
Dame.
old as I am, so you guys don't. I see people looking at me going, "What is a black top?" With the chain nets and all kinds of stuff,
Or
playing
no nets at
outside.
all.
You know.
The question is this: some of them are saying they're playing like that. They're playing almost like each game's an elimination game because they recognize there's very little room for error given the circumstances.
Yeah.
Have you sensed that increased edge that they're playing for that in the last couple of weeks?
I've seen that increased edge, but I don't think has anything to do about other than us trying to become the best team that we can possibly become. I don't think it's anything outside of that. The reason I say that is I haven't talked to them about anything. It's about our improvement. The only thing we have control over is how we prepare and how we practice and how we play. If we do that to our best of our ability, everything else will take care of itself. And so it may be, but I have not communicated that to them at all. Our focus has been on us. And if we take care of us, everything else will take care of itself.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody.